Welcome to Easy to Love Yoga. Today we're going to do a short practice on the floor. In previous videos, I've demonstrated different ways you can modify caterpillar and child's pose. Please review those videos before taking this class. So today's class, I'm sitting on a blanket, currently using it as a seat, so my hips are elevated slightly above my knees. I also have a set of pool noodles available, a set of yoga blocks, and a yoga strap. So have these items handy before beginning class. So let's come seated on your blanket, nice and tall with the spine, hands resting on the lap, closing your eyes, taking a moment to notice your breath. Noticing if you're breathing deeply, allowing the belly to rise on the inhale. Taking a moment to scan the body from the crown of the head all the way down to the toes. Notice any areas you need to be mindful of during this practice. And remember, if something is uncomfortable, you do not need to participate. Please wait for us to move on to the next pose. Always keep yourself safe. Moving on to our 4 square breathing practice, starting with an inhale through the nose of 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain the emptiness. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Retain. Exhale. Retain. Inhale. Retain. Exhale. Retain. Inhale. Retain. Exhale. Retain. And returning now to your regular breath and just noticing if you're breathing deeply. And gently open your eyes. So we're going to come off of our yoga seat, off of our blanket or our bolster. We're going to need a yoga strap. We're going to lie back onto the mat. We're going to place the strap around the sole of our right foot as we lie back onto the mat. So our right foot is flexed in the strap. We're keeping a slight bend in the right knee at all times. And we're using the yoga strap to draw that foot towards the wall behind us. Now for your left leg, you can keep the knee bent and feet flat on the floor, or you can extend the left leg out so that the heel, calf, glute, and left shoulder all remain on the mat. So using that strap, drawing your right leg towards the wall behind you. Enjoying a beautiful stretch through the glutes and the back of the legs. If you've extended your left leg out, remember that the left heel, calf, glute, and shoulder remain flat on the mat here. Breathing deeply. Two more rounds of breath here. Ease up on the strap somewhat and bring both ends of the strap into the right hand. Now we're going to allow the right leg to lower to the right side until the right elbow rests on the ground, acting like a kickstand, supporting the weight of our leg in the strap. This is our inner thigh and groin stretch. Remember, if your left leg is extended, the heel, calf, glute, and shoulder should be flat on your mat here. Two more rounds of breath here. Now slowly draw that foot back to center and bring both ends of the strap into the left hand and allow the right foot to come 6 inches only to the left, just until you can place your left elbow on the mat, holding you in this pose. Enjoying the stretch coming up through the glutes, the hamstrings, and now also the IT band. Remembering still to breathe deeply. The left heel, calf, glute, and shoulder are still firmly placed on the mat. Two more rounds of breath here. And returning that foot back to center. And now taking the strap into both hands, bringing the left foot up into the strap, allowing the right foot to come down to the mat. You're holding that strap in both hands. The left foot is flexed in the strap, slight bend in the knee. Again, you have the option to keep your right foot flat on the mat with the knee bent, or extend the right leg all the way out so the right heel, calf, glute, and shoulder are nice and firm on the mat. Use the strap now to pull the left foot towards the wall behind you, enjoying that beautiful stretch coming up through the glutes and the back of the legs. Two more rounds of breath here. Ease up on the strap slightly. Bring both ends of the strap into the left hand. And now lower the left leg to the left side until the left elbow rests on the mat, acting like a kickstand, supporting the weight of your leg in this inner thigh and groin stretch. Now your left heel, calf, glute, and shoulder should remain flat on the floor here. Breathing deeply. Two more rounds of breath here. Slowly draw that foot to the center, both ends of the strap now into the right hand, and draw the left foot about 6 inches to the right, just until the right elbow can rest on the ground, supporting you in this pose. Feeling a nice stretch come up through the glutes, the hamstrings, and also the IT band. Remembering the right heel, calf, glute, and shoulder are still firmly on the mat. Two more rounds of breath here. And slowly draw that foot to center, bringing the strap into both hands, bringing the right foot up to meet the left, bringing the soles of the feet together in the strap. Using that strap, wrapping it around your hands as you lower the feet in towards the body in a nice butterfly pose. Holding here, breathing deeply. Just 2 more rounds of breath here. Slowly start to unravel the strap and place one foot down and then the next, taking that strap aside. Now we're just going to roll back up and come onto our blanket or our bolster once again. The first pose we're going to do is a caterpillar pose. So if you find that you are overextending the knees, you can bring a pool noodle just under the knees if you find that helpful. You can use a set of blocks and bring your hands forward onto the blocks and rest them on the blocks. Or you could use a yoga strap, wrapping it around the soles of the feet and then just holding that strap to keep you in position. So decide how you'd like to participate in this pose. And we're just going to take a moment, adjust ourselves, and we're going to slowly allow the back to round, the shoulders to round and soften. Bringing our hands forward wherever you find comfortable, whether that's resting them on the mat, on your legs, on a set of yoga blocks. And just taking a moment here, noticing your breath as we move into this caterpillar pose. Breathing deeply. Softening the back, softening the shoulders. Breathing deeply in this pose. We're going to hold here for a few moments. Relax. Breathing deeply. Continue to breathe. Two more rounds of breath here. And slowly allow yourself to rise up out of this pose. Setting any props you may have been using aside. Just bringing your hands behind you onto the mat. Bringing your feet flat to the ground. And just windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Just to release any tension you might be holding in your hips. Once more to each side. Beautiful. Now we're going to come up off of the blanket once again. We're going to use a pool noodle. So I'm going to take a pool noodle. This is a noodle that has been cut into 3 separate pieces. I'm going to start with that noodle just under my shoulder blades. So when I extend my arms out, my shoulder blades are not resting on the noodle. For the ladies, this is approximately where your bra strap comes across your back. The next pose that we're going to take, this noodle will be mid-back, and our final pose will have the noodle at low back. So grab a noodle. If you don't have a pool noodle, you can use a bath towel rolled into a similar shape. So we're going to start once again with that noodle just underneath our shoulder blades, and we're going to just slowly roll back onto that noodle, positioning the noodle where it's comfortable, and then bringing the arms out into a T position. And noticing that these shoulder blades are not resting on your noodle. Just resting the feet, allowing the toes to relax, point out to the sides. Closing your eyes here, noticing your breath. This is considered a very gentle back bend. So you can use a pool noodle. You can use a rolled up beach towel, a rolled up bath towel, or a blanket that's rolled very thinly. Something that has a softness to it and can give. I would not use a foam roller for this pose at all. They tend to be very inflexible, and it may be painful to do that. Do this pose with that type of a prop. So do not use a foam roller. Please use a blanket if you don't have a pool noodle. Breathing deeply. Noticing that when you first got into this pose, you may have had some tightness in the back. Your body is resisting first relaxing into this pose. The longer we stay in this pose, breathing deeply, the more we can notice some of those muscles in the back have started to relax. This pose becomes less and less intense. If you find using a full pool noodle is a little bit much for you, you can always slice your pool noodle in half and just use a half a noodle with the flat side facing down to the mat and the rounded side facing upwards. And you can start there. One more breath here. Now to transition, what we're going to do is bend our knees and bring our feet flat to the mat. We're going to use the strength in our legs and lift our bodies up off of our pool noodle. So hold on to your pool noodle at both sides, gently lifting up off of the noodle and placing the noodle mid-back, and then very slowly coming back down onto that noodle, lowering down, extending the feet one at a time. Once again, bringing the arms into a T and just taking a moment, closing your eyes, allowing the body to start relaxing. Breathing deeply. As we go through these 3 movements with the pool noodle, different people will experience a different level of discomfort in their back as we use the noodle. Some people find the very first pose is the most difficult. Others find the mid-back or the low back is more bothersome. Now remember, if you're feeling any pain or severe discomfort, this is not the pose for you. Breathing deeply, allowing the muscles in the back to relax. One more breath here. And let's bend the knees and bring the feet flat to the mat. Hands to the noodle, lifting up off of the noodle and lowering the noodle to its final place in our low back and very gently lowering back down, extending the legs one at a time, and once again bringing the arms into a T position, closing the eyes and allowing yourself to relax as you breathe deeply. Breathing deeply. 2 more rounds of breath here. Bending the knees and bringing the feet flat to the mat. And this time grabbing that noodle only with one hand, lifting up off the noodle, placing the noodle aside, and then lowering back down onto the mat. Bringing your feet and your knees together. Bringing your arms back into a T position. We're just going to very gently rotate both knees to the right. And then once your knees have found their place, bring your attention over your left shoulder, looking beyond the left hand in this gentle twist. Two more rounds of breath. Once again, looking up at the ceiling and then gently rotating the knees back to the center to our starting position. Very slowly lowering both knees to the left this time. And once the knees are settled, bringing your gaze over your right shoulder and beyond the right hand, holding here. Breathing deeply. 2 more rounds of breath. Once again, looking up at the ceiling, slowly rotating those knees back to the starting position. Beautiful. Now we're just going to roll over onto one side. We're going to move into child's pose. So what I like to do for child's pose is to just have a blanket across my mat so my knees have a soft landing. You can use a bolster or another blanket. You can even use a set of blocks underneath your bolster just to kind of elevate your child's pose. So we're going to start by bringing our knees to either side of your bolster if you're using a bolster. And we're just going to bring the knees wide apart and the toes together, lowering our glutes towards the heels as we walk our hands forward and lower down onto our arms and bring our head to the bolster or the blanket you may have stacked. Now, if you're not using a bolster or a blanket, you can simply extend your arms out and lower your forehead to the ground. If that's not comfortable, cross one arm over the other, lower the forehead down to the arms, holding here, taking a moment to just allow the muscles to relax into this child's pose. Breathing deeply. If you're starting to relax into this pose, you have your arms crossed, perhaps you like to extend them, bring your forehead down to the mat. Continue to breathe deeply. Just 4 more rounds of breath here. Slowly begin to walk your hands back towards the body, coming back up onto your knees, coming off of your blanket, setting the blanket aside, and we're just going to come onto our backs for our final resting pose. So coming onto your back, allowing your feet to come to the corners of your mat, palms up, arms at a 45-degree angle, closing your eyes, wiggling your toes and your fingers, just releasing any tension, holding here, breathing deeply, allowing the belly to rise on the inhale. Feeling the support of the earth below, fully supporting you as you allow all the muscles in the body to relax. And doing another scan of the body, starting at the crown of the head, working down to the toes. Just notice without judgment if anything has changed since the scan at the beginning of class. Focusing on your breath. Then to come out of this pose mindfully, start by wiggling your fingers and toes, bending your knees and bringing your feet flat to the mat. And taking your time now, gently rolling to one side, Coming back up into a seated position, crossing your legs, or even extending your feet out in front of the body, whatever feels most comfortable. Resting your hands on your knees, closing your eyes. Focusing again on your breath. Bring your hands together at heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your energy in this practice with me today. I hope you enjoyed using some of the poses and have a new pose that you can add to your daily practice. And remember, it really is easy to love yoga. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.